What's up, guys? It's Benny. The Christian kingdom of England that once ran the entire world is no longer England. And that's a shame, of course. They let it happen to them. Countries must commit suicide like this. This is what it looks like, actually, when your country commits suicide, when they allow another dominant culture to gain a foothold and then gain complete control of the nation. This is, of course, a Sharia march in downtown London. All of the architecture, none of it built by Muslims, all of the churches, the steeples, the things that made England a great society, not built by Muslims. That's just a fact. So why is this happening here? Of course, this is antithetical to English tradition. Islam is antithetical to free speech, separation of church and state. Many of the universal human rights, you can see every woman here is wearing a hijab, full head-to-toe hijab. And many of the children, you can see the little children wearing hijabs as well. And they're celebrating this because England is a destroyed nation. This is being allowed to happen because they've decided that they no longer have the will to fight for their own nation or people. And that is an absolute shame, and it's something worth examining here in America. Something that goes along, obviously, with Sharia law is a guaranteed lack of free speech. Forced state religion, the complete and total marrying of the state as a religion. And of course, when you do that, then you can't insult Muhammad and so on. You have no free speech under Muslim dictatorships. And just to, in case you're wondering if this is a conquered people, like, try doing this in Beijing. Why don't you try doing this in Saudi Arabia, for instance? Like, why don't a bunch of Christians with like crusader crosses try doing this in Riyadh and see what happens? You know, again, like, why don't you try doing this in another nation? Why don't these same people try and do this in Hong Kong, right? Or downtown China, like downtown Beijing. These same individuals that are marching here, try it in China. See what happens. See what happens. You're going to wind up in a slave labor camp and you're not going to like it. And so I guess what I'm trying to say here is like the total and complete, this is a practice in humiliation and in cultural force and domination, and it wouldn't be allowed in any culture that has self-preservation instincts. Why is it allowed in England? Because they no longer have self-preservation instincts. It goes hand in hand, the lack of free speech. You've, of course, heard of people getting arrested for memes in England. You've heard of people getting arrested for saying naughty words. Assault victim convicted of a hate crime when she branded her attacker a F word, right here in a text message, telling a friend that how she'd been beaten up. So she's a nurse. Her name's Elizabeth Kinney, and she was convicted of a crime after a man beat her up because she used a naughty word to describe that man. Here she is. So Elizabeth Kinney, English woman, had to then issue groveling apologies because she was abused and beaten. She insisted her words were a thoughtless rant, and she had to plead guilty and apologize because of her homophobic remark. Well, this sounds like a job for Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson went to England to speak with Piers Morgan, who I think he likes a lot, and who he complimented in his monologue as the man who is the purveyor of free speech in England. Piers Morgan does have a lot of people on from a lot of different backgrounds. He has hit out against wokeness. But as you can see in the total and complete collapse of Piers Morgan in this interview, Piers Morgan doesn't even remotely resemble the type of anti-woke, the type of Western Christendom crusader, true Western civilized crusaders that we have here in our country. You cannot do what Piers Morgan did in this interview and still claim that mantle. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Tucker's opening salvo about the F word.
Elizabeth Kinney from Tranmere. Have you read about this?
Go on.
She's a mother of 4. I think she's a nurse, and she gets beaten up by her boyfriend. He beats her up. She goes to the hospital, and she texts someone, a buddy of hers, a friend of hers, a girlfriend of hers, and describes the man who beat her up and sent her to the hospital as a, quote, faggot. It's a faggot. Mm. And she's arrested and convicted of a hate crime. The guy who beat her up is not arrested or convicted. And then she goes through this whole kabuki, which is now required, where she prostrates herself before the judge. I'm sorry, it was not a homophobic rant. By the way, you're allowed to be homophobic if you want in a free country. You can have any view you want. But no, because she used the word faggot, she's arrested, and the guy who punched her in the face was not. That story tells you everything.
Well, I don't know that story. If it's exactly
Daily Mail, baby.
Okay.
Pictures of her and everything.
I'm not doubting it. I'm just saying I need to look into it. But if that is how you've told it, obviously it's ridiculous.
Would you say the word faggot on camera?
No.
Why?
Because
you don't want to get arrested, do you?
doesn't want to be arrested.
Because it's so harmful to people?
No.
Is that like gay bashing? What's wrong with that?
No, actually, my whole issue with the whole trans debate, for example, is you don't need to slide into actually saying derogatory stuff about trans people to make the point that women's rights should be protected. You don't need to.
Well, I agree.
So what? I don't believe.
No, but it's a magic word.
I don't believe in needlessly sneering.
Well, I'm not smearing anybody. I just think.
But why would you use that word?
Faggot?
Yeah,
I just did.
Yeah, but would you use it?
Faggot?
Okay, but why?
And I'm using it because you're not allowed to. Because you're
I'm allowed to.
Go ahead.
I don't want to.
Say I love gay people. Faggot.
No, I'm allowed to. I just choose not to.
This chick just got arrested for it and convicted.
Right.
So that doesn't have a chilling effect on your ability to.
Look, there are people watching this who will be offended by the use of the word.
I'm sure they
chick.
will. I'm not anti-gay. I never have been. I can use any freaking word I want.
Offended by the use of the word chick.
Chick. Okay, whatever.
Dare you be so sexist comparing women to chicks?
How about this? Let my life, the way that I actually live and treat people, be the testament to my heart. That's how I feel.
Tucker Carlson staying in England. I truly hope he isn't arrested. I mean, I guess if he is arrested for saying this on camera, it would be quite a story. And Tucker Carlson then talking about Britain and what's happened to Britain. And I encourage you to go watch, obviously, the whole interview. It's gone wildly viral in my timeline. But this is, I just want to play you two clips. I don't want to crib the entire interview because there's so many great clips. But there's this clip about what England has become. And is England without the white people or the white majority in the country? And the answer to that is, of course, no, it's not. Because the English built England. And if they're replaced, then you just, you just become Algeria, right? Or Morocco. It's such a simple concept. The nation is its people. Let's take a country, that is not as controversial like Italy. If you took all of the Italians out of Italy, every single one, there are no more Italians left in Italy, and you moved them all to Florida, which is kind of shaped like Italy, I guess. Like what, and all the language and all the culture and all the traditions and all the cooking and all of the music, then what would happen is Italy would stop being Italy and Italy would be Florida. Do you understand? Like, it's not the rocks, it's not the trees that make Italy Italy. It is the people. Nothing else makes Italy Italy. And so when you remove the people, which is happening at scale in England, when you remove the people and the majority culture, then it ceases to be that place anymore. It becomes something totally different. Is that worse? Is that better? I mean, I think there's a lot of arguments on scale with that. You could check the rape stats. You could check, everything from the crime rates, stabbing rates, no-go zones, which they have in England, the rise of Sharia law, Muhammad being the number one name in England. All of this stuff, I could argue, is not good. But here's Tucker's deconstruction of it. And I think it's beautiful.
I'm not attacking anyone on the basis of their race.
No, but you're saying that our
religion.
culture has changed because we've had other cultures come here. Is that your position?
Well, it's not my position. It's a fact. And you just said at the beginning. So it's better. So what about British culture didn't you like and has been improved by new cultures?
Oh, well.
Tell me, what didn't you like before? What are you glad is gone from the Britain you grew up in?
Let me tell you. If you came to London in the 50s and 60s, the food was crap. Absolute crap.
Well, it was that way in the 80s when I was here.
Right. Now, we have some of the best gastronomy.
It's amazing. Some of the most expensive, too. I wonder, is everyone eating there?
No, I can tell you.
I paid $1,000 for dinner last night.
You're a wealthy man leading a very wealthy lifestyle.
Holy shit,
Why
all
don't you
the
come
food
with me?
here is...
Come with me to Brick Lane. Come with me to Brixton. I'll give you a proper
I
meal.
love it.
And
You and I will go to the tough parts of
you'll spend-
town and eat street food. But
I can give you a great meal.
are you really
No.
saying
I'll
the
take you to
food?
I'll take you to the top end
The
of Portobello
food?
Market. Right, you come with me. If you want to risk death walking up to Portobello Market, I'll take you and give you some street food, and you'll spend
I've been to
£10.
Portobello Market, and by the way,
did you go to
just
the
in
food court?
point of fact, I'm quite popular there. I will say that. You're way better than European. You're an ancient Germanic Celtic people who ruled the world. Do you remember that in your wooden ships? Anyway, but the point is, no, I'm serious.
You do talk
did.
some crap sometimes.
No, it's
anyway,
it's totally
good
real.
crap, but come on.
With the mass from Maine, White Pines. But the point is, your country went to war to preserve human rights in another country you had nothing to do with. But human rights are evaporating in your own country, and it's cool because you have soccer games with foreigners at them and good burrata.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying maybe something about the heroic British spirit has been diminished with time. That's all I'm saying.
Tucker Carlson takes Piers Morgan to the task over Britain's demographic collapse. Piers says ethnic food is worth it. It's not. It's an indefensible position that Piers is in because of his lib and left-wing friends, and because he's also an elitist. He's also a very rich person. He comes from an elite stock, elite family. He ran elite media outlets. And so Piers has to have this opinion. Piers could never take the opinion that, no, we actually need more white people in England. Yes, the English are white. That is, it's like, that's the limit there. There are a lot of white people I would happily trade for a good weekly chicken tikka masala. It's a terrible take. It's the worst take. It's the most awful take. The biggest crime here, I would say, and again, these two seem to be friends, and I know Piers and I like Piers. It's just it's very, very different brand, obviously. And there are English nationalists and so on. But here's my final takeaway from all of this is that this is more of a class thing than anything. It's been the elites that have always brought their nations to their knees. It's been the elites that have always wanted to flood our nation, that loathe the actual working class of a country and the people that make it work. It's always been that case. It's happening here in America, and it's something that we must reverse. This is actually far more of a demographic problem. This is more of a class problem. The elites love this because it means they can control us and they can water down the actual native populations of our countries that demand things of them. And if you can import the third world, it's much easier to control. So Piers Morgan is an elite, and he is just sneering down his nose at the working class of his nation. And it's sad to see. And that's what this all is sum total. This is the sum total of the interview. But that being said, I'm glad everyone's talking, right? I'm glad Piers is sitting for these interviews. Tucker is very sharp, very funny. I like debating him. Okay, well, there you go. Say it, Piers. Say it. Tucker cooking. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya. And watch the full interview on Tucker's channel. Link in the description.